What a present to have you on stage with me. Kim, can I call you Kim?
Absolutely.
Kim is one of the co-founders of Supersonik. And before jumping into go-to-market and what's the future of GTM, I would really like to understand better, how did you go from being the CEO of such a big scale-up Typeform here? I'm sure in the audience, we are all dreaming about this company generating more than $150 million AR, I guess, AR, to being back to the founder mode and getting back to a smaller, very much smaller company. So how did you find the energy to get back to getting so hands-on? And what's the difference in terms of culture and organization between both companies?
Thank you, Audrey, and happy birthday. So energy has never been a problem for me. Definitely, I also believe that AI, it's the biggest transformation I will live professionally. I've been in the, let's say, earlier internet days. I've been in the earlier mobile telecom days and mobile internet, mobile data days. I think this one is going to be even bigger, and I didn't want to miss it. And I think it is beyond books and beyond courses and so on and so forth, living it front and center from a pre-revenue, pre-everything startup is going to give me that real experience. An AI native startup like Supersonik is a company that has AI at the core. Supersonik's product is AI. It would not exist if it wasn't for AI. And our culture is AI first. So anything that can be done with AI is done with AI. And there is no friction in terms of pre-existing systems or processes or structures, including organizational structures. I think this is very different to SaaS incumbents, very successful SaaS incumbents. For SaaS incumbents, AI is a change, is an innovation that needs to be adopted. And that change competes in a way, or needs to be balanced with, things continuing to run smoothly, to have that stability and other competing priorities, right? So it is normal. It is the way it has to be, honestly, that the culture is more transitional in that sense. And the adoption of AI is more selective because of different reasons, right? So including, even being scared for change, inertia, and so on. So I believe that AI native startups are the ones that are trying to invent new categories. And the best SaaS scale-ups, SaaS incumbents will basically enhance through AI their existing category.
And before jumping into AI native companies and more specifically Supersonik, can you tell us more about how can you move incumbents? Because when you were at Typeform, you would have the opportunity as well to provide a bit of AI into it, or add a bit of AI into it. And I'm sure some of your clients at Supersonik, they are not AI native companies, and you need to advise them of how to transform their situation, their role of being incumbents into be able to compete against these pure AI native companies.
Yeah, and it is very important that they do. I absolutely fully encourage all of the existing SaaS companies to do this. And I would say it's not without difficulty, because first and foremost is a big cultural change. The mindset is different. It's a mindset of, let's say, learning versus control, or exploration and experimentation versus certainty, right? So because of this, it starts from the top. CEO, C-level sponsorship of this is absolutely critical. I've seen from customers, we have also a few enterprise customers at Supersonik that are huge, huge companies, and they are moving very, very, very fast. Because some C-level up there is directing this, is saying you have to explore it, you have to use it, you have to. So I'm thinking of leading by example. I'm thinking of setting goals that maybe are more achievable when you use AI. Otherwise, it would be maybe difficult to achieve, and that can be a forcing function. I'm thinking of allocating budgets, of course. I'm thinking of starting to measure things not only through ROI, although ROI is very important, but also through, learning velocity. And then a few tips with this AI literacy, right? Foster AI literacy, create spaces where people can learn and experiment with AI in a safe environment, like sorts of hackathons or things like this. Empower AI champions, right? So people who can be part of cross-functional teams in the day-to-day, trying to achieve some customer outcome. And then they can be kind of coaching, mentoring, and making people realize that, even the state of technology today is already very, very helpful. I think that's very important. I could go on. I think data needs to be rethought, basically because AI thrives on data. I think products are critical. I believe that the product is the first and foremost things. I mean, Typeform is a product company. Supersonik is a product company. But then it's not only about maybe the AI feature in the product, is also give yourselves the time and the perspective to think about the customer outcome that your product is providing today and how this can be better achieved with AI. So not through a specific feature, but actually rethinking the whole experience itself. And finally, another big thing here is AI for internal operations. And what I'm seeing is how people automate existing processes. Right? They change something, they automate that bit of the existing process. But again, similarly to a product feature, that's fine. Give also yourself a chance to rethink whether the process itself is useful to get to the business outcome that you want.
Yeah, it seems like prioritization and scoring of what you can do with AI is one of the main challenges when you are an incumbent and you want to grow into AI. And now let's jump into building an AI native architecture, thanks to Supersonik, but also to other tools. So how do you go from, the former go-to-market funnels to a new AI native architecture?
Yeah. So I've been thinking a lot about this because of Supersonik, obviously. So my first thought is that current go-to-market processes are designed for a world that is a people-only world, right? So we as individuals, we work in specific ways with our, let's say, excellent human capacities, but also limitations. Like we take holidays, we don't work at nights, we don't speak all languages in this world, and so on and so forth. We also work in teams, right? And that is also something that implies synchronization, coordination. It has some requirements, and we also manage teams, and we have needs to report, and so all of that is done by the measure of humans and for humans only type of processes. So but there is a new actor, right? So there is a world where not every actor is human, where there is a non-human actor. Think of an AI agent or a set of AI agents collaborating, participating, and being part of this go to market, right? So what's gonna change? Well, I don't have the crystal ball, but I think that we can already see some things changing. For instance, in our human only world, we tend to do optimization in a manual way, given some moments, like maybe on a quarterly basis, we go back, we see the reports, and then we decide what to optimize. Why not go from this manual optimization to a continuous self-optimization, right, of the systems? Another thing that I believe will change is we have a number of static playbooks that are applied in the day-to-day by different teams. Think of, inbound, outbound, and so on. And they are stitched together in the best way possible by strong and disciplined RevOps teams, right? But can we go from this static, kind of sometimes siloed set of playbooks to a more adaptive, orchestrated, maybe unified intelligence, right? Where, an AI agent could say, well, I think it's best to show a product demo by Supersonik to this lead, or maybe I should propose, because now there's going to be more free time for this AE or rep to take the call directly, because I think it's worth it, right? So it is not, let's say, it's adaptive. It's adaptive, right? A couple more things. In a human-only world, what we have is human-heavy tasks and processes, even when the task is repetitive, boring, right? Why can we not go to a world where humans are empowered and their work is enhanced by, let's say, AI? Think more like copilots and assistants in this sense. And it has been part of my life to see in M&A and in other business functions linear processes, and funnels are also linear, right? And linearity is an easy way to think about things and also to report things, right? So how many do we have in this stage, and how many do we have in that stage, and what's the drop-off rate? How many have moved from this stage to that stage in the last 30 days? This is very easy to kind of manage and report, but it's not reality. It's just a mental model that we apply to, simplify and explain reality. So I think we can go from this, let's say, linear funnels to a more customer journey centric funnel, where customers can move, let's say, left to right, but sometimes right to left, and they don't follow like this straight line. So all these things, I think, are part of what will change in the go-to-markets, assisted by these technologies.
Thank you very much. I think it goes very, very much into the personalization and tailor-made architecture, and that makes a lot of sense. Maybe another question would be, we saw so many go-to-market tools that was making a very fragmented market, what we call the red ocean, with so many tools already before AI native companies were appearing. And now with these additional AI native companies, we see many more of them. How do you react to this red ocean? And for a company like Supersonik, how do you see the future? Do you think that there will be consolidation? Would you want to be the consolidator? Or do you think it's actually a good market practice to get such a number of tools available for companies?
Yeah, I think this is it is part of a maybe more normal cycle as I see it. So generally, when companies decide to buy tools that are best of breed, right? So they don't do everything. They just do this task very, very well. They do that because it's innovative, right? So it happens at the very beginning of cycles. It's something that it's new, it's innovative. I think as this progresses, what happens is that these tools specialize, and then you get depth, right? So this is the best tool to do this. It only does this. It's not new anymore after 3 or 4 years, but it's actually the best at doing this. It's so specialized, right? And then there are other times when something might change, right, in the market, in the buyer mindset, and then they go for one-stop shops, right? And one-stop shops, I think this is because you trade that innovation and that depth for simplicity, right? So you have more tasks being integrated and done by the same tool, right? And that's simpler, right? It can also be cost effective, right? And maybe these companies have also been able to raise their offering. So maybe it's not as deep and as specialized, but it might work, right? For, maybe 50, 60, 70% of the market, that level of performance, that level of capability in that product or in that feature of the product is sufficient, right? So I think that we've seen that. I mean, I go back to MarTech 2012, like 800 companies or something like that. And then a few years later, it was like 8,000 companies. I think we'll see that, right? The thing that I believe is going to change with AI is that I don't think we will go to a unifying set of tools because of simplicity, but more around shared context, right? So what we see in the tech stack, and you can think of it as like what it exists today, right? So it's an infrastructure that requires data, and data is very, very important. That's why I go back to my previous comment, right? And on top of that data, you will have this kind of unifying intelligence that uses this information, this data, to help make decisions, to analyze it, to make forecasts, and then to also act on it, right? And then you can have tools that basically will act on this based on what the orchestrator is saying, right? And some of these tools will still be very, very specialized tools, like maybe today Supersonik with the product demos, right? And you will be combining very specialized tools with broader tools, right? But it's going to be not because of maybe simplicity, but because of shared context, because that data and the information you have of every single potential buyer or buyer in your company, let's say customer in your company, is going to be in that data layer. And then that experience through the customer journey, whatever that is, will be acted upon with different tools, specialized tools and non-specialized, let's say more broader set of tools.
It means that interoperability between these tools, the very verticalized one and the more generalist one, will be very much needed, I guess.
Yeah, and I believe that the tools that are not, let's say, accessing that shared context will be without context and therefore not performing. Yeah.
Getting back to Supersonik and your specific vision. So indeed, as you were saying, you started with running demos, but I'm sure you have a larger vision than that. Can you tell us a bit more about 10 years from now, what will be Supersonik?
Yeah, absolutely. Very gladly. So I've always talked about love your customer. I've always been very customer centric. I think this is absolutely essential in how we think about the future. We were talking about this customer journey experiences, right? So driven by the different stage in that journey for each customer, right? So thinking about this, we believe that people will be engaging with products differently. And that engagement, be that at the discovery stage, be that at the learning stage, be that at the kind of how I adopt it and start using it, will change, right? And then that actually ultimately leads to I want to buy this product, right? And I'm staying in this product, right? So this is our grander kind of vision. We want to play a very critical, category-defining, leading role in how these people will be engaging and will be, buying software products. We started with something very pragmatic, right? Which is, why should you ask your lead that has a moment of interest, right? Is willing, it's at that big interest. I want to see a demo of your product. Show me your product. To say, wait, we don't have the people right now. You can wait maybe 2 hours, 3 hours. Let's book a demo later, right? Why, right? So we started trying to solve this problem. Our key differentiator is we don't only speak to the customers or leads or prospects. We actually show them the product, because we believe that the key tool for a salesperson is the product, right? You have to be proud of your product. It's the ultimate value. I mean, you're demonstrating the value, how you're going to solve your customer's problem. So we want to show the product. We want to talk with your customer. We want to be able to respond any questions, right? And that's what we do today. But this will evolve towards not only show and tell, but also act, like do it for me or do it with me. And it will go from, that lead or prospect to an onboarding experience, to a maybe troubleshooting experience, and so on. So again, it goes back to how people will engage through that funnel, through that, journey with your product, how they will engage, buy, and obviously, hopefully stay for many, many years as your customers.
So it means that you will start with acquiring, helping to convert prospects into customers, and then later on, maybe you will support these customers, retain them, upsell them, and so on and so forth.
Yes, yes. And I encourage you all to go there. That's our webpage. Better through desktop than mobile, because it shares the screen. It shares our product online, so the screen is bigger if you do that desktop. And then talk to our agent, and you will see what it does, what the technology is able to do today.
So please, everyone, make a picture of that screen and go to the website and try Supersonik. And we wish you all the best, Kim, for you and for Supersonik for the future. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.